Hey everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing Godzilla vs. Kong, of course. So spoiler warning. This will be spoilers. I'll try to keep this short and sweet. So yeah, let's begin. So first things first, let's get this out of the way. The CGI in this movie has improved a lot. Um, and I believe CGI is cheaper now, so that's a plus because throughout this movie we get less human moments compared to the other two movies. This movie was focused more on the kaiju. So that's a plus, and of course we have a lot of daylight scenes. So that proves that CGI is getting better and cheaper for them to use to do this. Because usually night scenes are used to cover up any imperfections in CGI. But we get a lot of things during the day. So quickly we get of course, spoiler warning. We get the Godzilla versus Kong match on the carriers in the ocean. Beautiful, beautiful. Um, I'll drop some screenshots. Basically, Godzilla versus Kong there. Then we get Godzilla versus Kong in Hong Kong at the night. But it's very lit up because there are a lot of neon lights and stuff in the background. So even though it's dark, it's pretty lit up and fairly clean to see. There's no wondering what's going on. You can see everything clearly. And of course, the other big scene is Godzilla and Kong versus Mecha Godzilla, who's the true bad guy. Um, so yeah, everything CGI wise in this movie was done perfectly. So I give them a A+ for that, a 5 out of 5 for that, and I'm happy they kept the human interactions to a minimum, because of course this is a Godzilla and Kong movie. Um, so first part of the review, I will give the CGI and all the actions a 5 out of 5 for that. Second part now, the story behind the movie was okay, I guess. It was good because the main story of this is, of course, there are two teams, Team Kong, Team Godzilla. Team Godzilla consists of Madison as well as two new characters, one being Josh, a friend from school, and one being Bernie. He worked as an undercover kind of self agent, I guess, to discover what Apex was doing and to figure out why Godzilla was attacking Apex. He had his own podcast as well. So he's a conspiracy theorist then. So yeah, the gist of Team Godzilla is finding out of their story in the movie is finding out why Godzilla is attacking people and he turned on humans. Um, and investigating Apex to figure out if Apex is behind it. So their main story arc is that it was fairly short, like I said, minimal interactions with humans throughout this movie. The other big thing now is Team Kong. They had more screen time, of course. So we got them interacting with Kong more. And the main person for Team Kong is the little girl who we see in the trailers. Her name is Gia. And it seems that Skull Island was hit by some sort of storm a few years back and it wiped out the tribes. And she was the only survivor. And Kong protected her until this doctor, who's the lady, came to the island. Apparently, she decided to adopt Gia in some way and take care of her as well. Um, but we learn throughout the movie that Kong can use sign language to communicate, and he does that to talk to Gia only because they have a bond, I guess. So, Team Kong consists of Gia, her mother, which is the female doctor, I forgot her name, and this other doctor now, whose name is Linda, I believe, who believes in the Hollow Earth theory. Apex hired him. So yeah, their story throughout this movie is to get Kong from Skull Island to Hollow Earth, of course, so he can live a proper life. So that's their main story arc. Um, Also, they do some more at the end, but I'll get into that at the end, as well as with Team Godzilla. But the gist of that is they get Kong from point A to point B, and they do. Um, the other main faction here is Team Apex, or Apex. Apex is a facility that's using cybernetics to enhance humanity and make life better by making robots to help with work and that kind of stuff, it seems. However, we get glimpses through Bernie's first part of the story where he found some kind of high, I guess, in one of their basements when Godzilla attacked the facility. Of course, they go back to the facility, and that's when we learn that Apex is some sort of company that's doing shady stuff. Because we get, first of all, we get introduced to Apex's main leader. I forgot his name, but the leader of Apex, and he has an assistant or someone who helps him, which is a Japanese actor. I forgot his name. Both of them are the main bad guys here. Uh, so they go to the scientist, and that's where Dr. Lind, sorry, they go to Dr. Lind and they get him to join Team Kong, of course. So they do this by showing him the hollow Earth theory in holograms, and then you carry it to get them to there. So yeah, so we know Apex is there now. Um, we get more of Apex now when their story intersects with Team Godzilla, because now we know Team Godzilla, after they went down to the sub level in the Apex facility where they got the eye, or found the eye, where Bernie saw the eye. Uh, they get transported to Hong Kong in one of the futuristic cars that has eggs for skull crawlers. Um, and when they get transported to Hong Kong, it's in some kind of death pit. And in this death pit now, we see the floor opens up and something comes out, and of course, it's Mecha Godzilla. And this is where we first get introduced to Mecha Godzilla. And they decide to test him out against a skull crawler. And he does a laser beam and cuts it in half basically and kills it. Um, so yeah, now the story intersects here because we see Madison and Josh and Bernie, Team Godzilla, start digging for information inside this new facility in Hong Kong, and they come across Ghidorah's skull. And basically, they come to the conclusion that they're using Godzilla's skull, no, not Godzilla, Ghidorah's skull, and the telepathic link between that to control Mecha Godzilla somehow. Maybe because they're using maybe a part of Ghidorah in that, or next the Ghidorah skull in there, because Ghidorah has three heads. Um, but basically they see the Asian actor as well. I forgot his name. Forgive me. He's piloting Godzilla like a mecha in there as well. So he's in Ghidorah's head, piloting him with controls. Um, so that's the link between that. We also get Bernie being discovered because he's doing dumb shit, and he pops up and gets seen through the mirror, and they call security on him. Um, and this is where their story pauses and we cut back to Team Kong. We see Team Kong now in the Hollow Earth. They're attacked by what seems to be giant dragon snake creatures. Um, Kong kills one, and then a bigger one attacks. It's getting the upper hand on him, of course. And the humans help him, and Kong proceeds to kill it, eat part of its head from when he rips off the head, and drink its blood, which is gross. Um, but yeah, and eventually Kong finds a temple. And this temple resembles, if you remember, in King of Monsters, when they went underwater to find Godzilla after he was hurt, they found a temple. And there was lava all around and a lot of radiation. Kong's temple resembles that. So that's really cool and a good callback. Uh, and he finds the axe there. So he didn't make the axe like everyone was assuming he was going to break off Godzilla's scale and make it. But he finds the axe, and he finds a throne, and he sits on it. Um, and when he sits on it, he looks on the ground and he sees there's like a charging port for his axe. So he rests the axe in there, and it lights up a big symbol, and we see like a Godzilla symbol on the ground. Um, so yeah, and when they find this, it seems the radiation now is what Apex was after. So this is where Apex and Kong story intersects, because we see that one of the persons who is on this Team Kong mission was, of course, we met her earlier, but it was the owner's daughter, Apex's owner, his daughter. Um, and she tries to steal a sample, and she turns on the actual good guys, being Team Kong, which is Gia, Lind, and the lady. And Godzilla is pissed off, and he roars and wakes up these bird-like bat creatures in the ceiling, and they start attacking. Um, all in all, this was a good scene. The whole Hollow Earth section was very nice. It was nicely done. Again, CGI has improved very much. So this movie, if anything, was very beautiful. Um, so yeah, we got Godzilla roaring and waking up the creatures, and they attack. The bad guys managed to escape. However, the owner's daughter is sort of an idiot because she could have got away, but she decided to tell the ship to shoot Kong, which is dumb. Kong then proceeds to grab and crush the ship, killing her and all the rest of the bad guys. So yeah, her story ends there basically, and we then cut now to Godzilla. um, Godzilla is now in Hong Kong because he sensed Mecha Godzilla when it woke up to fight the Skullcrawler. He uses his radioactive breath to blast a hole through the earth all the way down to Hollow Earth. And we see Kong and him staring down each other through the hole and roaring. Um, so there's that. And now this is where everyone's story intersect. So we see now at Apex that the Mechagodzilla that they used the sample that his daughter, the man's daughter, sent back to him. However, this sample seems to overpower the mech or short circuits it or Ghidorah takes over. So what happens is the pilot in the mech is electrocuted and killed when they get the sample. Um, and Ghidorah, I would assume this is Ghidorah taking over, even though he's dead. His brain signals is what took over the mecha. Um, but basically, the mech proceeds to kill the Apex guys and breaks free. And now that is where that story pauses. So back to Godzilla now. So Kong gets out of Hollow Earth now because we saw him and Godzilla having their stare down. And two of them proceed to have a very nice fight in Hong Kong at night. Again, it's very well lit, even though it's nighttime, because there is no imperfections really to hide for the CG, where there needs to be poor lighting. So very well done. Um, we see some cool scenes with them fighting. We get the scene from the trailer where Kong blocks Godzilla's breath with his axe. Kong actually lands a blow with the axe on Godzilla and hits him in his leg. Um, Again, this was a really good fight. Really, really good fight. Kong proceeds to get his ass whooped again because Team Godzilla. I'm Team Godzilla. Just throwing that out there. Um, but yeah, Kong proceeds to get his ass whooped again. Uh, he's dying now. He's suffering what seems to be a heart attack. His heart is failing basically at the end of the fight, and they use the ship to perform. I forgot the name of the machines in the hospital where they rub it right on your chest and say clear to restart your heart. They use the ship to do that to Kong, and Kong wakes up after getting his ass whooped, and we see this is now where everybody's story intersects. So we see Mechagodzilla now where I paused before he's coming out of the tower, the mountain. Um, this is a callback to the old movie, the old Mechagodzilla movie where Mecha came out of the mountain. Um, so that was cool. Mecha comes out and Godzilla charges him. We see Mecha has not just Godzilla's strength, he's stronger. He has jet boosters, he has missiles, he has blades. He's a total badass. And he proceeds to whip Godzilla's ass. He even beats Godzilla in a laser breath fight. And burns Godzilla on his shoulder. That's payback because Godzilla, of course, burned Kong's back. Um, but yeah, Kong wakes up now and we see Gia tells Kong that Godzilla isn't the enemy, the robot is the enemy. So Kong decides to help. And Mecha Godzilla is holding. You ever see your dog ever ate something like a cat, and you know how you just have to pry open their mouth to see to make sure it's nothing that could kill them? Basically, Mecha Godzilla is doing Godzilla that to shoot a laser down his throat and kill him. Um, and when he's about to fire, Kong jumps on his back and pulls his head to shoot the laser up in the air. So we get that. Now, this is where the big fight starts. So Kong and Godzilla start double teaming Mecha, and Mecha is still getting the upper hand on them because he's a badass. And Team Godzilla now is seeing this, and they are trying to work on the systems there to maybe disarm him or shut him down. And Josh is trying, apparently, because he's a nerd. a computer nerd, according to them, and he should know tech. But his rebuttal is he only did HTTP coding, so he doesn't know what he's doing. So he's just typing in a bunch of random passwords and he gets locked out of the system. Meanwhile, this is going on, of course, Godzilla and Kong are getting their asses handed to them. Um, so yeah, again, I'm just going through the movie briefly. I don't want to spoil it because this is a movie you need to watch, if anything, for the fights. Um, so yeah, again, Godzilla, Kong getting beat up. But Josh comes up with an idea because Bernie is like he's going to drink because if he's going to die, he needs to be drunk. And Josh pours his alcohol into the computer and that short circuits it. And in doing so, that stalls Mecha for a few seconds, and that gives Godzilla and Kong some sort of idea while it's stalled, and Godzilla uses his breath on Kong's axe, which charges it up, and Kong proceeds to cut off Mecha's two legs, his arms, and then cuts off his head and holds it in the air like some kind of champion. Um, so that's where the fight ends. Of course, Kong falls down after because he's tired. Um, of course, something I didn't mention that I'll mention now. When Godzilla was whipping Kong's ass, he dislocated his shoulder and scratched up his chest a lot. There was a lot of dirty fighting, scratching, clawing, biting. But yeah, so we see Godzilla now. The movie ends. Madison reunites with her dad and all of that. Uh, and Godzilla gets up and he's roaring and he's coming to Kong. And technically, I would call this Kong balls to Godzilla like the rest of the movies in the second movie. Sorry, where the rest of the monsters bow to him. Because when Kong sees Godzilla coming, they have a mini stare down at Godzilla, and Kong drops the axe. And Godzilla turns around and he walks off and then into the ocean and swims away. I would call this a form of bowing, but some form of mutual respect between both of them. And the movie ends there. Um, so yeah, I tried to run through the movie as quick as possible. Good movie, of course. A lot of CGI, well done CGI. Where we could go next though. So if we're doing a next movie, I think two things we could do. We could either do Godzuki. You all should remember Godzuki. I'll throw up a picture. I think he was part of the cartoon back in the day as well as the Japanese movies. We could maybe do Godzuki, a story about him, or we could do Gigan, which is the alien monster from the old films from Toho. We could maybe do Gigan, or we can do Destroya, not Destroyer, Destroya. That's how it's spelled. Destroyah, Destroyer, because he has a few transformations as well. So maybe we could look into doing stories like that for the future movies. That would be cool, because if we do Baby Godzilla or Godzuki, that could progress the story like in the show in the old movies, and then have Destroyer introduced to fight Godzuki, or something to that effect. Because I don't know where they'll go next from here. Or maybe do a next mecha, because I would like to see a full-on mecha battle with Godzilla, but this time maybe have more titans joining the battle and no humans helping. But again, good movie. That's just my opinions. Quick review. I'll give this movie a B plus. I'm happy they kept the human interactions to a minimum. They only needed necessarily to progress certain aspects of the story, of course. But other than that, minimum, which is good. I love the kaiju battles, of course, because who doesn't? So again, if you're into that sort of stuff, or you just want a movie to turn your brain off and enjoy, this is that movie. So thanks for watching, guys. Of course, if you enjoyed anything I had to say, leave a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave a dislike. Leave a comment if I missed any important things. I tried to gloss over the movie quickly as well, so this video would be shorter. And it's already like 20 something minutes, so I'll have to cut it down some more. So yeah, of course the movie is close to 2 hours, so just a heads up. So yeah, leave a like, leave a dislike, sub, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next one.